Welcome to the Lightning 50 e-commerce growth hacking podcast brought to you by Bright Pearl. Want to turn your business into a cash-generating machine? You've come to the right place. This bite-sized podcast reveals the technology secrets fueling the world's fastest-growing online brands. And for our host, we have retail industry expert Caroline Baldwin. She'll be sharing her own wisdom and experience as she interviews high-growth e-commerce brands to uncover their secret tech tools and tips for success. Let's get started on supercharging your growth. Here's Caroline.
Hello and welcome to the Lightning 50 e-commerce growth hacking podcast. I'm Caroline and today we're speaking to D2C lead of Candy Kittens, Moynul Islam. Moynul, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing?
Yeah, great to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. So you are the D2C lead at Candy Kittens. So co-founded in 2012 by Made in Chelsea's very own Jamie Laing, Candy Kittens makes 100% vegan sweets for grown-ups. Tell me a little bit about the business today and, how e-commerce has helped you get to where you are right now. Because I can imagine a lot of people listening to this podcast, probably grew up buying sweets from a corner shop or a supermarket. And now you have this massive brand online, which is really unusual. So tell a little bit about the business for those that might not have come across Candy Kittens.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like you said, started in 2012 by Jamie Laing and his friend Ed Williams. Grown massively since then. We are the fastest growing confectionery brand in the UK. We're now stocked in pretty much every major grocery retailer in the UK, plus various wholesalers, resellers, and independents. And then what really sets us apart from the competition is for Candy Kittens, it's not just about making great tasting sweets, but making a positive impact on the environment. So sustainability is key for us. There are a few things we do focus on. So being a vegan brand, as you mentioned, we avoid ingredients that are harmful to the planet, like animal gelatin and palm oil. We're also a carbon neutral business and our sweet pouches are recyclable. So I joined the business, Candy Kittens, in 2019 as their first e-commerce manager. At the time, there was no real focus or attention on the online side, so the website. Also, this was the smallest account. So our website was the smallest account for Candy Kittens back then. So as you can imagine, this was a really exciting role to really stamp your mark and grow this channel. A lot of work was really getting the foundations right before really building out that strategy, focusing on features and functionality, and then also the product mix thereafter. So that's, the journey in a nutshell.
Fantastic. So your growth rate has been 608% for the year 2020 to 2021, and you're sat at number 4 in the Lightning 50. So how have you achieved that? What has it been about the last year that has really ramped you guys up from that phenomenal growth after you're 10 years old now? So what's happened in the last year or so?
Yeah, I mean, our brand has grown organically quite a bit. So, we've seen that organic growth translate to our e-commerce side. Along with that, the business really recognized the potential in online and has been fully behind in supporting the growth of our website by investing more, which has been absolutely crucial. There's nothing more important than really having that backing from, managing directors and the board. That investment includes, pushing more into marketing to really drive that customer acquisition. That's been absolutely key. On top of that has been investing in resources, both internally by recruiting people to support D2C and digital, and then also externally by working with really great agencies who we might not have been able to work with maybe a few years ago. So that's really, enabled us to have the right people and the specialist knowledge to really help us grow.
So it seems that investment that you guys have made in people and the business, of course, and technology has come at a perfect time with the trend for veganism and sustainability. And you're hitting that kind of sweet spot, because I have in my notes here that, you're aimed at the millennial customer. And talk to us a bit about that customer that hits your website. What are they looking for when, they could throw some sweets, your sweets, in their trolley at the supermarket? What makes e-commerce work for your customers in this market?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think another thing that really sets us apart from all of our competitors is that we don't market our sweets to kids. It's very much a gourmet treat for adults. Our target market, our biggest customer base, is 18 to 35-year-old females. So that really, resonates with us in really driving, a sweet treat. And on top of that, we've been able to really focus on our product mix. So You can go into the grocery stores and just pick up a bag of sweets, but when you come onto our online channel, you can pick up a gifting product, and it could be, focused on seasonality, whether it's Christmas or Valentine's Day. We feel we do have the right products that hits all the different needs.
Yeah, completely makes sense. So what do you think the secrets behind your success are? Come on, tell our audience, share a secret with us.
I would say, having great foundations in place before scaling up was absolutely key for us. You really don't want to be in a position where you're probably spending money to drive traffic to your site and actually receiving orders, and then to find out that there's an issue maybe with your supply chain or the product, or an integration issue, or you're unable to support maybe customer service in maybe an efficient way. Don't get me wrong, you may be able to get great sales or ROI in the short term, but you will probably suffer in the longer term with your returning customer rate and your overall LTV of your customers. A lot of things that we did do is testing and trialing, finding what really works and then doubling down on it. There's nothing wrong with failing, but really, I guess what we say is, test fast and fail fast.
So true. Getting those bare bones so solid, because, there's nothing worse than having an Instagram campaign or something go viral and you just can't manage the load of people coming in right before Christmas. So, and talking of, marketing and social media, what do you lean heavily into that? Talk to us a little bit about what you've done there.
So, in terms of, let's say, budget, I've very much focused on Facebook advertising. I would say about 90-95% of our budget would go on Facebook. We do a bit of Google. We have tried Pinterest. So that obviously comes with its own challenges, especially over the last year. But that's probably where most of our marketing definitely goes into.
I see. So talk to me a little bit more about those challenges that you faced over the last year.
Absolutely no surprise. Obviously with iOS, last year was definitely a big challenge. Just like many online businesses, Facebook advertising was where most of our marketing budget goes. But with the new updates, we've had to be a bit more cautious with how we approached it. We've also had to start changing our strategy for the long term and focusing on that first customer data. And then also trying out different areas, such as, maybe focusing a bit more on Google and Pinterest. But definitely when most of your budget is focused on Facebook, then you're just unable to track that data. It does make it a lot more difficult for sure.
No, tracking customer data is surely key for most e-commerce businesses. That must have been really difficult.
Absolutely, yeah. But it did also help us to think differently and outside of the box. It wasn't about how can we overcome this, but it was more, okay, how can we change our business to just focus on different areas? Because the whole thing around customer data is not going to go away. If anything, there will be a lot more restrictions going forward. And it's just about how we can pivot in terms of, okay, how do we actually spend our money most efficiently, and whether we invest in different areas such as different technology, or, in different areas such as email marketing.
So do you have your fingers on the pulse when it comes to technology? We'll talk a little bit about what you're looking at, crystal ball wise, or for next week even, but what technology has really been, the key area that's helped you grow over the last couple of years?
Technology. We use Shopify, which I absolutely swear by. So technology that supports Shopify, this is massive. I think it's really important to understand how different bits of technology and software can really help your business. There is absolutely no magic formula where one bit of technology will completely revolutionize your business, but it's important to have an understanding of how each one complements one another, so you can build a tech stack that really helps your business. So for us, one thing we invested in last year was Klaviyo for email marketing. Absolutely, completely changed our, email marketing metrics and revenue generated from that. Another great one, Gorgeous for customer service. Recharge for subscriptions. We also started using Yotpo for things like loyalty programs, referrals, and reviews. And then I guess there's another really important one which you can't forget about, is your 3PL, so your warehouse. Having a great integration in place to manage your stock and your orders is absolutely vital. And all of these technologies and softwares talking to each other and working well with one another.
So let's go on to the future technologies then. That's a great array that you're using to really support your business right now. But what have you got your eye on? What technology would you love to implement next week if you had the budget? And what do you think is exciting coming down the line, further down the line?
I think attribution tools are more important now than ever before. So using tech to model the customer journey in more detail, finding out exactly what parts of the online journey, we're losing customers, to help optimize our site and then define what we're actually doing for development. And then also using that to push personalized marketing. So we are testing out different softwares and tools at the moment just to really nail down that attribution and just really modeling out that customer journey. But I think that really, if you do have the budget, is to really invest heavily in that, especially going forward. With all these restrictions in place with iOS, this is probably the next most important thing. And then beyond that is really just building a community online. And then, we are doing that through our loyalty program. But I genuinely feel that's probably the key. And then other areas, I would say, something that's made a bit of a comeback and really big this year and going into next year will be SMS marketing too.
Interesting. Oh, Moynul, thank you so much for joining us. Before I let you go, I want to go back to the Lightning 50 list. You ranked number 4 and you are the regional winner for London. What does that recognition mean to you, the business and the employees?
Oh, this is a massive achievement. A lot of work has really gone into building our e-commerce channel over the years. And sometimes you can really get lost in the detail and, the day-to-day operations, which can lead to really forgetting about that growth. So it's really great to see the hard work paying off by being recognized in this way. So it's absolutely massive.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Thank you so much for joining us today. And to our listeners out there, we will be back with you with another episode very soon.